Jacob Stevens clicked the flashlight on as he stepped into the forgotten corridors of Ashbury Manor. The artifact from his past led him here, a journal belonging to his late grandfather, Elias Stevens, detailing a hunt for cursed treasures and unearthly mysteries. The manor, nestled deep in the woods, loomed, its shadows watching like ancient sentinels. Thick vines coiled around the iron trellis of the front doors, whispering secrets of abandonment. The darkness inside was not the absence of light, but a living entity breathing cold gusts of air. Each step Jacob took resounded with a thud, echoing through the silence like a heartbeat. Ashbury Manor had a reputation. Some called it haunted, others deemed it cursed. Local residents whispered of souls that wandered its endless halls, trapped since a fire claimed the lives of its inhabitants a century ago. Jacob wasn't interested in ghosts. What pulled him here was the notion of a forgotten artifact lined in his grandfather's journal, something that might unlock the mysterious disappearance of his family. The walls seemed to close in, the portraits of long-dead Ashburys glaring disapprovingly as Jacob passed. Their haunted eyes seemed to follow him, yet their faces were smudged and nondescript, mere blurs disturbed by the fire many years ago. The air was heavy, thick with dust and untold stories, making breathing a laborious task. He moved deeper into the manor, guided by the rustle of old parchment and leather-bound secrets. The library was close, the starting point of the puzzle his grandfather had outlined. As he pushed a large oak door open, the musty scent of ancient tomes filled his nostrils. Books lined every wall, the shelves towering like guards over the room. Jacob swept his flashlight across the spines, their faded titles speaking of knowledge beyond comprehension. His attention was drawn to a desk in chaos, papers strewn about, as though left in a hurry by someone expecting to return. Among them lay a single envelope, not yellowed with age, but marked with today's date. Intrigued, Jacob opened it. "Leave while you can," the note urged in scribbled handwriting. He glanced around, half expecting someone to jump from the shadows, but he was alone, just the creaking of the manor and his racing heartbeat for company. Determined, he searched for the shelf described in the journal. As he found the specific book, a hefty volume bound in cracked black leather, a hidden latch clicked open, revealing a passage behind the bookcase. With tentative steps, Jacob entered, feeling the weight of the manor shift, as though welcoming him deeper into its clutches. The passage spiraled downward, lit dimly by tarnished sconces that flickered like dying spirits. His footsteps whispered against stone and secrets, leading him to a gallery of grotesque statues. Each one, twisted and malformed, seemed to capture an inhuman agony. The air here was colder, each breath leaving a crystallized mist in the air. A sense of déjà vu washed over him. He had seen this place in his dreams, a recurring nightmare since he was a child. The same statues twisted in grotesque forms, reaching out as if begging to be acknowledged. Suddenly, the air shifted. A distant sound of footsteps echoed from above, deliberate and methodical. Jacob's heart skipped. Was someone else here? A deep unease settled over him. He pressed himself against the icy wall, his mind racing with thoughts of intruders, or perhaps the lingering spirits of Ashbury. His grandfather's words echoed. All spirits seek closure. Not all find it. As the footsteps grew louder, Jacob steeled himself for an encounter. The tension pulled at his nerves. To remain hidden, or to confront whatever approached. He peered around a statue, his eyes searching the shadows. What he saw made his blood run cold. A figure cloaked in darkness, its face obscured by the hood of a tattered cloak. The figure paused as if sensing Jacob's presence, then turned and vanished, back toward the library. Was it a guardian of the secrets he sought, or merely a ghostly echo of the past? Gathering courage, Jacob decided to follow, driven by a mix of dread and curiosity. He retraced the figure's path, finding himself back in the library, the scene unchanged, except for a draft that stirred papers on the desk. There, he noticed a single book left open, a hidden compartment revealed with a delicate key-shaped pendant. It was an elaborate piece of craftsmanship, its metal worked into intricate patterns, gleaming even in the enveloping darkness. It seemed to pulse faintly in his hand. His grandfather's journal spoke of keys, physical and metaphorical, to unlock the legacies left by ancestors. Was this the answer to why he was drawn here? Suddenly, the room grew colder. An oppressive presence filled the air, palpable and suffocating. Then, the door slammed shut with violent force. Panic jolted through Jacob. He ran to the door, tugging fruitlessly. It was as if it had been sealed by some unseen hand. His pulse thundered in his ears. He fumbled for his flashlight, which flickered, threatening to abandon him to darkness. That's when Jacob heard it. A whisper, soft and almost indistinct, rising and falling as though woven into the very air. "Follow the light!" The words were a lifeline. He spun, seeking the origin, only to find his flashlight's quivering beam had landed on another bookcase. This one ajar slightly, revealing a dimly lit passageway. With renewed hope, he rushed toward it. The passage twisted and turned, feeling more like a serpent's gut than a corridor, leading him deeper into the bowels of the mansion. Eventually, it straightened to reveal a cellar-like room, cluttered with strange artifacts. They glimmered under his flashlight. Statues, mirrors, weapons, all indelibly marked with the motif of a crescent moon. A large mirror, its surface murkily reflecting his image, stood at the room's center. Hesitantly, Jacob approached, drawn irresistibly to what he sensed lay just out of sight. The surface of the mirror rippled, and he instinctively stepped back. In its depths, he saw figures, his ancestors, reaching out with spectral hands, their faces twisted in silent pleas. They sought salvation, trapped in a place between worlds, their destinies intertwined with the artifact. The realization struck Jacob with unsettling clarity. The pendant was not just a key, but a bridge for souls. He held it up, the metal frigid in his palm, its weight an immeasurable burden. One of the figures emerged clearer, the visage of his grandfather. He wore the same determination Jacob aspired to, but coupled with a weariness that came from knowing too much. "Jacob," the apparition spoke, its voice echoing through the confines of his mind. "You must choose." The room seemed to pulse with energy. The objects throbbed in unison, a symphony of ancient power. Jacob understood then what his grandfather meant. Freeing the souls would come at a price, binding him to their fate. The pendant warmed in his hand, responding as if alive. He felt its pull, insistent yet offering a glimmer of choice. The power coursed through him, a storm of light and shadow, tearing at his resolve. Jacob hesitated, torn between the desire to free his ancestors and the fear of binding himself eternally to Ashbury's curse. He shut his eyes against the maelstrom of sensation, surrendering to the whispers that promised release and rebirth. The pendant spoke in an ancient tongue, through feelings and sensations rather than words. It asked not for understanding, but for faith in the unseen. In that moment, amidst the chaos, Jacob made his choice. The pendant flashed with blinding luminescence, filling the room with brilliant light. The shadows screamed and dissolved, the oppressive presence lifted as if the house itself exhaled. Moments later, the light was gone, reduced to rivulets undulating around the pendant. The room stood still, the mirror now an empty pane of glass, its former inhabitants released. Jacob staggered away, the spectral weight lifted but replaced by a profound fatigue. The key hummed in his hand, quieter now, a constant but bearable quietude. He emerged from Ashbury Manor, the night welcoming him back as he stumbled into the clearing. The house seemed less foreboding now, its secrets free and untangled from the living. The stars flickered above, unfathomable guides in an expansive sky. Jacob looked back at the manor, his world shifted, and with it, his place within it. Freed from the binds of the past, he realized the future lay ahead, bound by neither curse nor shadow, but by the light of untold possibilities.